Good morning, everyone. Um, just here to give brief welcome remarks. So I just want to say thank you for joining us today. As you know, to discuss a rather important topic. As you're aware, it's network resilience in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl. So as we gather here today, we are reminded of the challenges that we would have experienced as a country, as a people, during and after the Hurricane Beryl, the impact that it would have caused on our infrastructure, and what it would have done to our daily lives then. So we have the opportunity here today, as we come together, to share our experience, right? To discuss the status of our communication networks and to discuss possible solutions, how we can improve on our existing networks based on what we would have learned. So we have experts here today. I would consider you experts that could, provide insightful discussions. And I would like to encourage all here to take part in the discussions in the Q&A section so that we can all take home something that we could improve on our network. So I would just like to say welcome, and let's make the best of this opportunity here today.
Thank you, Marcellus. And in every organization, there is always the visionary. And there is always, that person is also always resilient. The person who keeps us going, the captain of the ship. So join me in welcoming the president of the Internet Society in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Roxanne John. Welcome, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. You moderator. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see all of you here this morning, and we appreciate the sacrifice that you are making, because we know what we have in the room here are managers, IT systems, persons who are key to their organizations, and to take the time to be here today, I know it's a sacrifice. But we definitely look forward to great things. Now on July 1st this year, the eye of Category 4 storm, Hurricane Beryl, passed between the islands of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada, with maximum sustained winds of 150 miles per hour. Beryl intensified rapidly to become the first Category 4 storm for the month of June, and all is on record for the Atlantic Ocean. And as we all know by now, the eye of the storm passed over Grenada and through the southern Grenadines, devastating the inhabiting islands of Canouan, Union Island, and causing widespread damage to the northern Grenadines and on the mainland St. Vincent. Hurricane Beryl exposed 56% of the nation's populations to winds between tropical storm and Category 4 hurricane strength. And this was the strongest hurricane to have impacted St. Vincent and the Grenadines since at least 1875. While all sectors were impacted by the storm, tourism, housing, we see fishing, which is the economic life of the Grenadine Island, and infrastructure for electricity, education, health, transportation, and of course, the communication network were mostly and seriously affected. Now, the World Bank conducted an assessment. You have CDM and other organizations also conducted assessment. But for the World Bank, they prepared what we call a global rapid post-disaster damage estimation report. We call that the GRADE report. And it provided an estimate of the costs associated with the economic damage to physical assets of housing, public buildings, non-residential buildings, agriculture, and critical infrastructure, using a methodology that considers the disaster's three-component: hazard, exposure, and vulnerability. So that report presents the total economic damage estimated at US $230.6 million, or equivalent to approximately 22% of SVG's 2023 gross domestic product. And the report went on to state that the Southern Grenadines were the worst hit, accounting for a total of US $186.8 million, or 81% of the country's total damage. And of course, Union Island was the worst island in terms of damage estimates. So it is against this backdrop that we decided to focus our IGF this year on the theme, Network Resilience in the Aftermath of Hurricane Beryl. Because even the Grenadines were most significantly affected, all of us were impacted. Because we are all linked as one. We have families in the Grenadines. We also have friends. And we also have to and still have to give support, whether financially or physically, otherwise. We have to give support. So we were all impacted in some way or the other. And I'm happy that the Internet Society, St. Vincent and Grenadines chapter, what we dub ISOC, which is entrusted with the operational secretariat role of the SVG IGF, that we were able to make it happen today, to host this Internet Governance Forum. Just want to thank up front, and as the moderator rightly said earlier, Marcellus, Constance, and Jonquil Cadogan, who is our event coordinator, for leading in the preparation and leading the team, because we all work as a team to make this happen today. And we also appreciate the collaboration that we are having from Fortinet. As we reach out to them, they were quite happy to partner with us in this great initiative. I'm not doing a vote of thanks, but I will not have another opportunity to talk. So I have to thank ITFX. You know, Paul Gans is a member of the chapter too. And he is doing this today. He is doing this today as part of his contribution to the Internet Society. We have to make sure, I have to make sure I acknowledge him. Even though he will get a vote of thanks later on, I have to say it, because I'm happier for that. So it allows the message to go further than just this room. Persons can log on online. And even though they may not have the chance today, you can go at some time in the future to ITFX website or even to the Internet Society website, and you can tune in. And we also have our colleagues from the region, Internet Society, and the Internet Governance as well, forum, who are part of this. I just want to say that the Internet Society, it's a global organization. It's free, open to all who are willing to participate. You don't have to be an IT expert, you just have to be a human being. And in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, once you live in St. Vincent, you're willing to be part of. Because we are all users of the internet, regardless to what status you hold in life, we are all partakers of the internet. The use, and you see when during the hurricane, when the networks were down, how we were just like crazy in our houses. That's the importance of the internet. Our children, they were miserable. The networks were slow and this and that, and they were miserable. That will tell you the importance of the internet. So our role is basically to advance the development of the internet, to ensure that it remain open, free in the context of no hindrance to allow us to use it. Not free that you don't pay. Because you have to pay sometime. But even so, we could advance that and make sure that it is affordable. We have to ensure that it is affordable. It is accessible. That everybody has a right, just like a right to eat, you have a right to the internet. Because that is what communicate, that's how we communicate to the global world. That's how we communicate to each other. Sometimes that's how we communicate in the house, unfortunately. But that's how it is. So we are open. We have a membership just under 100. And we do things like this, forums, where we allow communication. Person can share the experiences, like what we are doing today. So the IGF, the Intergovernance Forum, is really to bring together multi-stakeholder groups. We represent different groupings and individuals to discuss and share good practices on internet governance issues. And it promotes common understanding of how to maximize internet opportunities and address different challenges that may arise. And I must do the important part of the forum is networking. I know some of you meeting each other for the first time. It's good. Sometimes you may hear about persons, but to put the name to the faces is good. So it's an opportunity for you as well to network and to learn from each other. And today we're happy to have organizations such as NEMO, National Emergency Management Organization, first responders to disasters, and responsible for disaster management in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who will share the experiences with Beryl. And also we'll have our service provider. We'll have one of them, Flo, who will also share in the experiences that they have with networks and communication. So it's a short but impactful day that promises to be very productive, fruitful, rich, and we look forward to the information that will be shared and look forward for you to share your information as well, your experience, your knowledge. That's the purpose of forum. You may not see a paper coming out of it, but you never know, because this Internet Society started through a forum. Right, Rudy? When we met, it was just a group of ICT experts just come together. Yes, it was a forum. Experts and users like me, because I was there. I'm not an expert, but I was there to share. And from that forum, we form the chapter. And as he says, a chapter, which means it is part of a bigger organization. So you never know what can come out of a forum like this. And it is only when you share. So it's not about me today, so I must decrease. And may we enjoy the discussions, the learning, information sharing, and most of all, may we take back something we learned today to others so it can help us to enhance internet governance in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Let's give her another round of applause. After all, she would have the most to say. I didn't stop her because she was a president, so I gave you some grace. It's quite appropriate in keeping with the theme, and I must commend the organizers for this, to have some insight into actual experiences, and more so specifically to the environment that we all, exist in. So, of all the groups or organizations, there's one that stands out in a disaster. They are there before, during, and after. And we truly appreciate the great work that they have been doing over the years, and more so during Hurricane Beryl. They featured prominently in keeping people alive. They caution, give guidelines, they provide a food, they provide a shelter. Maybe some of us would not exist without them. And today we are fortunate to have someone representing the National Emergency Management Organization in the person of Jerome Ledlow. He is the radio communications officer. So he's intimately, again, involved with communication. So I invite us all to listen attentively. I know we will have questions. I know we will have ideas. Please note those, because there's an open forum where we could share our thoughts, ask questions, and provide feedback. And we would like everyone's input. And I know our president said we may not get a paper. I hope we can get something highlighting the key things that come out of this, so that we can have this, Willis, for future planning, not just within the Internet Society, but as a nation. Flow, they are not my friends. But yeah, we are friends now. So we all learn from these experiences. So let's all join me in welcoming Jerome Ledlow from National Emergency Management. Ledlow.